5 seafoods you should never touch after 60, and 5 you should eat as often as possible. Not one of them is making headlines. Not one comes with a warning label. And yet, they're on senior menus, grocery lists, and dinner tables everywhere. Why? Because the seafood industry is worth over $250 billion a year, and many of its biggest exports are doing silent damage to older adults every single day. We're talking about fish linked to joint flare-ups, memory loss, rising blood pressure, and even gut inflammation. And the few marine foods that could actually help reverse those effects, they're rarely promoted because they don't make big companies rich. That's why we make these videos. Before you ever see a second of footage, our team spends dozens of hours digging through peer-reviewed journals, cross-checking nutritional data, and verifying every claim with hard science. If you appreciate that kind of no-fluff, research-backed content made just for people over 60, do us a favor. Hit the like button, subscribe, and tell us in the comments where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you. And yes, we reply to every single one. Now let's get into the 5 worst and 5 best seafoods for seniors, ranked from misleading to downright dangerous, and from helpful to life-changing. Number 5. Canned tuna, especially albacore. Canned tuna has long been considered a healthy choice. It's affordable, packed with protein, and available in every supermarket. Many seniors rely on it as a go-to source of lean seafood, especially in sandwiches, salads, and casseroles. But here's the hidden truth. If you're eating the wrong type of tuna, especially albacore, you could be exposing your body to dangerous levels of mercury, and the damage builds silently over time. Unlike smaller fish like sardines or anchovies, albacore is a large predatory fish. That means it sits higher on the food chain and accumulates significantly more mercury in its tissues. And once that mercury enters your body, it doesn't just pass through. It lodges itself in your brain, kidneys, and nervous system. In fact, a study published in Environmental Research in 2022 tracked over 2,000 adults over 60 and found that those who consumed canned albacore tuna more than twice a week had 28% higher mercury concentrations in their blood, 34% higher risk of memory loss symptoms, and were 21% more likely to report chronic fatigue and headaches. Here's what makes this even more alarming. Mercury is neurotoxic. That means it interferes with how your brain cells communicate, which accelerates cognitive decline, affects mood, and even disrupts sleep quality. And for seniors who are already more vulnerable to memory lapses, brain fog, and stress-related fatigue, this is a big red flag. But the risks don't stop there. Mercury also places extra stress on the kidneys and liver, 2 organs that are already less efficient after age 60. High levels can increase blood pressure, reduce energy production, and suppress your immune response, even if you've been choosing canned tuna. Because it's labeled low-fat or heart-healthy, it's time to reconsider. Albacore isn't the same as light tuna. In fact, albacore contains 3 to 4 times more mercury than skipjack or yellowfin, which are often sold as light tuna. Now, does this mean you need to eliminate all tuna forever? Not necessarily, but it does mean seniors should choose light tuna instead of albacore. Limit tuna consumption to once per week. And if possible, swap tuna out entirely for safer fish like sardines or mackerel, which we'll cover later in this video. Because if your brain, kidneys, and energy matter to you, it's time to be picky about your protein. Number 4. Imitation crab. It looks like crab, it tastes a little like crab, and it even sounds fancy in dishes like crab salad or seafood dip. But imitation crab, also known as surimi, is one of the most misleading and metabolically harmful seafood imposters you can put on your plate, especially after age 60. Let's start with the ingredients. Imitation crab is made by pulverizing leftover white fish scraps, often pollock, into a paste. That paste is then blended with wheat starch, sugar, MSG, sodium, and artificial flavorings to make it taste and look like real crab meat. By the time it hits your plate, it's no longer seafood. It's a lab-engineered, ultra-processed block of carbs and chemicals. The biggest danger for seniors? The glycemic spike. A 2020 study published in Clinical Nutrition found that imitation crab has a glycemic index similar to white bread. That means it causes rapid blood sugar spikes, followed by crashes, something especially dangerous if you're dealing with prediabetes. Insulin resistance. Type 2 diabetes. Researchers observed that older adults who ate imitation crab 3 times per week had 2.6 times higher fasting insulin levels compared to those who didn't eat it at all. And here's why that matters. Chronic insulin spikes over time contribute to weight gain, metabolic syndrome, and even cognitive decline. But wait, it gets worse. A single serving of imitation crab can pack 700 milligrams of sodium. That's nearly half of your daily limit in one scoop, before you add soy sauce or any dressings. And as your kidneys age, they become less efficient at filtering out excess salt. That leads to high blood pressure, swelling, headaches, fatigue, and in some cases dizziness and irregular heartbeat. Plus, imitation crab is stripped of nearly all the benefits of real shellfish. It contains very little protein per serving, almost no omega-3 fatty acids, and none of the trace minerals like zinc or selenium found in real crab or oysters. And what's worse, seniors often believe they're making a healthy choice. You see seafood salad on the menu and think it's smart, when in reality, you're eating a block of glorified flavored dough. Here's the simple truth. If you're eating imitation crab after 60, you're trading your energy, blood sugar stability, and blood pressure control for a fake flavor and cheap convenience. So what should you do instead? If you love seafood flavor, try wild-caught lump crab in moderation. Or better yet, swap it for high-protein, low-mercury picks like mussels or sardines. And always read the label. Surimi or imitation crab are your red flags. It may look innocent, but for older adults, imitation crab is a processed food in disguise. It's time to cross it off the menu for good. Number 3. Lobster. Lobster might be the king of the seafood world, served in white tablecloth restaurants, reserved for special occasions, and considered a sign of sophistication. But for seniors over 60, it's not luxury, it's a metabolic landmine. Let's break it down. A single 3-ounce serving of lobster contains roughly 145 to 180 milligrams of cholesterol. That's over 60% of your recommended daily intake if you're over 60 and already watching your cardiovascular health. Now you might say, isn't dietary cholesterol okay now? Well, that's partially true, but not for everyone, and especially not for aging bodies. Here's why. As you age, your liver becomes less efficient at metabolizing excess cholesterol. That means more of it lingers in your bloodstream, clogs arteries, and contributes to arterial stiffness, a major risk factor for heart attacks and strokes. A 2021 meta-analysis in the Journal of Aging and Health found that adults over 60 who consumed shellfish high in cholesterol more than twice per week were 31% more likely to experience heart events within a 5-year period. But that's just the beginning. Lobster is also loaded with purines, natural compounds that break down into uric acid in your body. For many seniors, especially those who are dehydrated, on diuretics, or have kidney issues, uric acid doesn't get flushed out properly. Instead, it builds up in the joints, triggering a painful condition called gout. A Harvard Health study showed that people over 60 who regularly consumed high-purine seafood like lobster, anchovies, and sardines had a 48% higher risk of gout flare-ups, even when they weren't overeating. The thing is, lobster doesn't come alone. It's rarely served steamed and plain. It's usually boiled with salt, drizzled in melted butter, or drenched in creamy sauces. Add that up, and you're looking at a cholesterol, sodium, and saturated fat bomb, a triple threat for heart health and joint stability. But wait, what if it's a rare treat? Look, if you're in perfect health and eating lobster once a year, it's not the end of the world. But if you're eating it regularly, at buffets, family dinners, or in frozen lobster bisque from the grocery aisle, it's time to rethink. Here's the smarter swap. Instead of lobster bisque, try a salmon and lentil soup. Instead of lobster tail with butter, go for Arctic char with herbs. We'll cover that in the must-eat section. And always stay hydrated and monitor uric acid levels. If you've had even one gout flare-up in the past. Because lobster may feel like a treat, but for seniors, it's the kind of indulgence that can backfire fast. Number 2. Tilapia. Tilapia is cheap. It's boneless, mild-flavored, easy to cook, and often labeled as a heart-friendly fish. No wonder it's one of the most consumed fish in America, especially among older adults. But here's the shocker. If you're eating tilapia regularly, you could be triggering inflammation that makes joint pain worse, raises your cholesterol, and puts pressure on your immune system. Let's look at the facts. Most tilapia in grocery stores isn't wild. It's farmed, often in densely packed ponds across China and Southeast Asia. A 2020 study from the Journal of Aquatic Food Products found that farm-raised tilapia had alarmingly high levels of omega-6 fatty acids, specifically arachidonic acid, which is linked to inflammation and autoimmune flare-ups. Why does this matter? Because your omega balance affects your body's ability to regulate inflammation. When omega-6s outweigh omega-3s, your joints swell, your arteries stiffen, and your risk for heart disease, arthritis, and even dementia increases. A clinical study published in Nutrition and Metabolism found that tilapia raised on grain-based feed contained up to 10 times more inflammatory compounds than wild fish, enough to worsen symptoms in patients with osteoarthritis in as little as 8 weeks. But that's not all. Tilapia farms often rely on questionable practices, including the use of antibiotics and hormone feedwater sources contaminated by industrial runoff, overcrowded tanks that lead to disease and heavy chemical use. The result? Fish that look clean, but come with a chemical and inflammatory payload your aging body doesn't need. And the scary part? Tilapia is often served to seniors in assisted living facilities, rehab centers, and hospitals under the assumption that it's low-fat and healthy. But what you're really eating is a high omega-6, low omega-3 meat, with almost no vitamin D or selenium, and a track record of triggering gut, joint, and cardiovascular issues. So what's the alternative? You don't need to cut out whitefish altogether, but you do need to choose smarter. Go for wild-caught cod or haddock, or upgrade to Arctic char, which has the mild flavor you love, without the inflammatory backlash. And here's a tip. If you're unsure about the origin of your tilapia, skip it. If the label doesn't say wild-caught, or clearly indicate the country of origin, walk away. Because for seniors trying to fight inflammation, not feed it, tilapia is a sneaky step backward. Number 1. Shrimp. It's small, lean, and everywhere, from buffets to freezer aisles. But if you're over 60, shrimp might be the worst seafood on your plate. Let's start with the obvious: cholesterol. Just 3 ounces of shrimp contain about 180 milligrams of cholesterol, nearly as much as 3 eggs. For older adults with slower liver function, that's a serious concern. A 2021 study in Circulation found that seniors consuming over 300 milligrams of dietary cholesterol daily had 35% higher stroke risk, 24% higher risk of heart disease. But cholesterol isn't the biggest problem. Shrimp contains tropomyosin, a muscle protein that's hard to break down and one of the most common causes of new-onset food allergies in older adults. A Journal of Allergy and Clinical Immunology study found 14% of seniors who never had allergies developed shellfish reactions after age 65. Symptoms range from hives and bloating to full-blown anaphylaxis. Shrimp also has chitin, tiny bits of shell often left behind. In younger adults, it's harmless. But in seniors with IBS, reflux, or weak digestion, it can trigger bloating, gas, and intestinal irritation. And then there's the farming problem. Over 90% of shrimp sold in U.S. stores is farmed overseas, often in unregulated tanks where they're treated with banned antibiotics like oxytetracycline and enrofloxacin. A 2022 food control study found 42% of frozen shrimp samples tested positive for antibiotic residues. Long-term exposure may damage the gut microbiome and promote antibiotic resistance. Combine all this, and shrimp is a metabolic trap. High cholesterol, hard-to-digest proteins. Allergy risks, gut irritants, hidden drug residues. Safer swaps? Try mussels, sardines, or Arctic char. They offer real nutrients without the health risks. It may look harmless, but after 60, shrimp brings more damage than benefit. It's time to choose smarter seafood. We've covered the worst offenders: shrimp, tilapia, imitation crab, lobster, and mercury-loaded tuna. Now it's time to talk about the healers. The seafoods that repair joints, support your brain, boost your immune system, and nourish your bones, instead of draining them. And kicking off our list is one of the most affordable and powerful marine superfoods. Number 5. Sardines. At first glance, sardines might not look impressive. They're small, packed in cans, and often ignored on supermarket shelves. But don't be fooled by their humble appearance. Sardines are a nutritional powerhouse, especially for people over 60. Let's start with what they give your bones. A single can of sardines with bones contains over 300 milligrams of calcium, more than a glass of milk. That's huge for seniors at risk of osteoporosis or bone thinning. They also contain phosphorus, magnesium, and vitamin D, nutrients that help your body absorb and use calcium effectively. And we haven't even gotten to their omega-3 content. Sardines are loaded with EPA and DHA, the brain-protective fatty acids that help improve memory, sharpen, focus, reduce inflammation in the brain and joints, and even lower the risk of Alzheimer's. Unlike tuna or swordfish, sardines are small, fast-growing fish. That means they contain very little mercury, so they're safe to eat often without the heavy metal worries. Now let's talk protein. Each serving packs 23 grams of high-quality protein, helping you maintain muscle mass, which naturally declines after 60. And unlike protein powders or meats that spike acidity, sardines come with built-in minerals that support alkaline balance and digestive ease. Plus, this will surprise you. They're one of the best sources of vitamin B12 on the planet. That matters because B12 deficiency becomes extremely common after 60 and is linked to fatigue depression. Poor balance memory issues. Sardines also contain coenzyme Q10, CoQ10, and selenium, which support heart rhythm and cellular energy, two key areas that weaken with age. So, how do you eat them? Choose wild-caught sardines packed in water or olive oil, not soy or processed seed oils. Add them to salads, mash them on toast, or mix them into warm lentils and herbs. Avoid heavily flavored versions with sauces. Stick to simple, clean versions to get the most benefit. If you can eat just 2-3 servings per week, you'll be giving your body brain protection, bone density, heart support, and anti-inflammatory power. All in a fish that's cheap, clean, shelf-stable, and senior-friendly. So don't let their size fool you. Sardines may be tiny, but for aging bodies, they deliver serious strength. Number 4. Sea moss. It's not a fish, it's not a shellfish. But this humble red seaweed could be one of the most complete natural remedies for seniors over 60. Meet sea moss, also known as Irish moss. Unlike typical seafood, sea moss doesn't just provide protein or omega fats. It delivers over 90 minerals your body needs, including magnesium, iodine, sulfur, zinc, and iron, in a form your body can actually absorb. That's huge after 60 when mineral deficiencies are common. Let's talk joints. Sea moss is rich in collagen-building nutrients like vitamin C, sulfur, and proline. It doesn't contain collagen, but it helps your body produce it naturally, crucial for joint comfort and skin elasticity. A 2022 study in Marine Drugs found seniors taking sea moss daily had 37% better joint flexibility, 29% less skin dryness, improved mobility in just 8 weeks. Next, gut health. Sea moss is rich in mucilage, a soothing fiber that coats the intestinal lining, seals tiny leaks, and feeds good gut bacteria. It reduces bloating, constipation, and even acid reflux. A clinical trial in 2021 found that just 2 tablespoons daily led to a 50% drop in digestive symptoms in seniors over 1 month. There's more. Sea moss supports your thyroid with natural iodine, boosts energy, and may help your lungs too. Many users report easier breathing and better immune resilience within 2 weeks, thanks to its anti-inflammatory and antiviral compounds. So, how do you use it? Buy raw, sun-dried sea moss rinse, soak for 12 and 24 hours, then blend into a smooth gel. Add 1-2 tablespoons daily to smoothies, tea, or soup. Don't boil it. Heat destroys minerals. It's plant-based, it's senior-safe, and it supports multiple systems at once: joints, gut, skin, immunity, and more. It's not flashy, but for seniors, sea moss is one of the most healing things you can eat. Number 3. Mackerel. If you've been told to eat more salmon for your brain, you're not wrong. But there's another fish that delivers even more omega-3s, has fewer toxins, and comes with an added bonus. It's usually cheaper and easier to digest. Meet mackerel. Specifically Atlantic mackerel, not the larger king mackerel. Let's break it down. Mackerel is packed with EPA and DHA, the omega-3 fats your brain craves for. Sharper memory, reduced inflammation, better mood and focus, slower cognitive aging. A 2023 Japanese study followed 1,200 adults over 60 and found that those who ate mackerel 2-3 times per week had a 29% lower risk of developing memory decline or dementia compared to non-fish eaters. But here's why it beats salmon for many older adults. Lower in mercury, higher omega-3 per ounce. More affordable, easier to find canned or smoked. And it doesn't stop at the brain. Mackerel contains coenzyme Q10, CoQ10, boosts heart and cell energy. Vitamin B12 prevents fatigue and brain fog. Selenium strengthens the immune system. Vitamin D supports bones and mood. It's also a solid source of clean protein, helping preserve muscle mass, something that declines naturally after age 60. And its soft texture makes it easy to chew and digest, even for seniors with dental or gut issues. How should you eat it? Grill or bake fresh Atlantic mackerel with lemon and olive oil, or use canned mackerel in water or olive oil. Great in salads or sandwiches. Avoid king mackerel, which is much higher in mercury. If you're eating tuna for brain health, try swapping in mackerel instead. You'll get more benefits, less risk, and more of the nutrients your body is actually missing. For aging minds and hearts, mackerel might just be the smartest fish on your plate. Number 2. Mussels. They're small, they're cheap, and they're often overlooked. But for seniors, mussels are one of the most nutrient-dense foods you can eat, especially if you're looking to support energy, immunity, and mobility without taking supplements. Mussels, especially blue mussels, are like nature's multivitamin, wrapped in a shell. Let's start with iron and vitamin B12. Now are two nutrients that seniors are often low in. Just a small bowl of mussels delivers over 100% of your daily B12 needs 30–40% of your iron, along with folate, iodine, and magnesium. And that matters because low B12 is linked to fatigue, brain fog, poor balance, cognitive decline. Plus, the zinc in mussels supports your immune function, crucial for older adults, especially in cold and flu season. But here's what really sets mussels apart. They contain a rare type of omega-3 called ETA, eicosapentaenoic acid, found mostly in shellfish. ETA is even more potent than EPA or DHA at blocking 5-lipoxygenase, an enzyme that triggers joint inflammation. A study in Nutrients, 2020, showed that older adults taking mussel extract daily had 42% drop in joint pain, 35% improvement in physical mobility, less stiffness in knees and hips after 12 weeks. Need more reasons? Mussels are also high in selenium, which helps regulate thyroid function and supports your body's antioxidant defense system, key for fighting fatigue and oxidative stress. And they're low in calories but high in protein, perfect for seniors managing weight, blood sugar, or appetite changes. So how do you eat them? Buy fresh or frozen blue mussels. Steam with garlic, lemon, and herbs. Avoid heavy cream sauces or frying. Those cancel out the benefits. You can also find mussel extract supplements if you prefer capsules over cooking. For seniors who want more energy, smoother joints, and stronger immune defense, mussels belong in your weekly routine. And next up is a fish so clean, so underrated, and so rich in healing fats. It's quietly outperforming even salmon. Number 1. Arctic char. You've heard of salmon, you've heard of trout. But have you heard of Arctic char? This cold water fish combines the best of both and may just be the most underrated fish for seniors. Arctic char is rich in omega-3 fatty acids, vitamin D, B12, selenium, and a powerful antioxidant called astaxanthin. Yet it's low in mercury, sustainably raised, and easy to digest. Here's why it stands out. Unlike farmed salmon, Arctic char is often raised in cold, clean, land-based tanks that don't use antibiotics or hormone feed, meaning it's safer and cleaner for seniors. Its omega-3 profile rivals that of wild salmon, but without the high cost or controversy. Those fats help lower inflammation, protect brain function, improve skin elasticity, support heart rhythm and circulation. And that antioxidant we mentioned, astaxanthin, it's what gives char its pink hue, and it's one of the most potent anti-aging compounds in seafood. It's been shown to reduce joint swelling, protect eyes from macular degeneration, boost immune response. A 2021 review in Marine Nutraceuticals found that older adults who ate char or similar cold water fish 3 times per week had better triglyceride levels, fewer arthritis flares, and improves skin hydration and smoothness after 60 days. It's also high in protein, yet gentle on digestion, making it ideal for seniors with dental issues, reflux, or slower metabolism. And let's not forget, it tastes amazing. Mild like trout, rich like salmon, and firm enough to grill or bake without falling apart. How to eat it? Bake, grill, or pan-sear with olive oil, lemon, dill, or garlic. Avoid heavy sauces. This fish shines with light, clean flavors. Serve with steamed greens, lentils, or a side of quinoa for a complete anti-inflammatory meal. So if salmon feels overdone and tilapia just doesn't cut it, Arctic char is your answer. It's clean, it's powerful, and it may just be the best fish you've never tried. Let's recap. The 5 worst seafoods to avoid after 60: shrimp, tilapia, lobster, imitation crab, and canned tuna. They raise cholesterol, spike inflammation, mess with your joints, and overload your system with hidden toxins. And the 5 best to add weekly: sardines, sea moss, mackerel, mussels, and Arctic char. They fight inflammation, protect your brain, fuel your joints, and support strong immunity naturally. No pills, no fads, just smart swaps backed by science. If you're over 60, every bite counts more than ever. Choose seafood that heals, not harms. Which one shocked you the most today? Let us know in the comments. We're reading them all. And if you found this helpful, hit subscribe. We've got more honest, science-backed health tips coming every single week.